Are we live?
We are recording.
Okay.
We're live.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bangi.
Digi.
I know it's been a very long time, and we talked a little bit about it like off camera. This is something new that I'm doing, so I'm first and foremost extremely grateful that you braved coming out to the wilderness. I know it's not for everybody.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not.
I'll just say that yeah, it's not for everybody. So I appreciate you, maybe stepping a little bit out the comfort zone and trying something new.
Well, right now, Digi, that's what life is all about for me, stepping outside the comfort zone right now at this particular moment in my life. So, and I wouldn't have been anywhere else with anybody else. With the love and respect I got for you, bro, I knew it was somewhere I had to be. We talked about me getting on here before. And I knew I had to make it happen, bro. I got nothing but love and respect for you, and I'm honored to be here, bro.
I appreciate it, man. So I guess with that, man, we could just kind of roll into it, man. It's for those who don't know, who Bangi is. I know you as I don't know. I see you.
Yeah. What do you see me as, Digi?
You are, man. You're like the modern creative, right? Obviously, we got introduced, with very early in my like filmmaking career. Mm-hmm. And I was videographer, shooter. You was rapper,
yeah. Artist at the moment.
I was
an artist
musician, making music, and that's how you got your start. But I think over time you transitioned into just being multifaceted. So like I see you as a creative. Like I don't necessarily like put you like you're creative, man. Like like you fuck with fashion. You're literally music, producing,
anything
making
creative,
videos. Yeah, for sure.
Creative, I'm
so like
you're
just kind of like a creative genius.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So it's it's been awesome just seeing like your growth in like all these different areas, right? And like, bro, I feel like everything that you've touched, man, you put some kind of sauce to it that like it's whether it's with like fashion, with the music videos, even just like regular video content that you're making, like it's shit is good, man. And it's
thank you, Digi. I appreciate it.
It's really cool. So like I guess just give a little bit of background to the listeners of like how you come up and like what you do.
All right. Well, I'm Bangi. Like Digi said, super creative. I like to see myself as like a curator, creative director, and just an overall creative. I feel like I used to put myself in a box when I started because I was like you said, you met me as an artist and I was just on some rapping stuff. But I feel like as time went on, as my journey expanded through life and through my career and everything, as I touched and put my hands on other things, I just learned how to do so much and fell in love with so many other things other than music. So I don't really put myself in a box, but I like the creative aspect. I like to say I'm just a creator, super creative. I'm just a guy who likes helping people tell their story, and I like telling my story visually. So that's me in a nutshell, for real.
Yeah, it's I mean, and it's kind of, even with everything that you do, it's very hard to like put you in a box. And yeah. I feel like even us being right here, man, is kind of us being right here like this podcast, and even us sitting right here in the fucking woods, bro, having ridden some mountain bikes that I don't want to put like any I don't want to like talk about any stereotypes or whatever, but like really like people like us, bro, like we don't do this.
We don't do this. Nah, I get you 100%. And this whole experience just coming out here to ride the bikes, that little 20, 25, 30-minute ride we just had was it was eye-opening and enlightening, because the whole time on the trail, I'm like, man, I never even knew stuff like this existed, So, like I said, with me being at that point in my life where I'm willing to give everything a try, this is just something it's new to me, but, like I said, it's just like riding a bike. Everybody can ride a bike, man, but it's definitely a workout for sure.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's you talk about getting out of boxes. One of the reasons why I started the podcast was, and the reason it's called the Creative Block. When I started the podcast, I I don't know, I was like in a weird like transitionary period where I wasn't super happy with what I was doing at the time, and I just was, I don't know, I wanted a way to like just get out of the creative block that I was in at the time,
Yeah.
and it gave me an opportunity to just chop it up with people and just get their perspectives. Everybody has different experiences and perspectives, and having those conversations has allowed me to like just take in something different, and it's motivated me in different ways in my creative journey. That it really is all about that. It was very personal for me early on to like just have a different way of like just doing something different from what I was doing at the time. And so
When
I
you
started.
say something different, you mean like 9 to 5? Is that
No,
what you're
different in like even like specifically in the creative space,
doing?
right?
Okay. Okay.
Like I'm sure you can relate. Like at the time, I was in this transitionary period where moving from the 9 to 5, the bulk of the work that I was doing was mostly like music video related, and it made it very challenging because there's not a whole lot of financial. You're not making any money,
A
bro.
rapper, up and coming rapper is broke. The normal up
Exactly.
and coming rapper is broke, or the average up and coming artist is broke. They're struggling.
So it made it challenging in sustaining a living doing that without like just running myself ragged. And I was doing that for some time where like it was jeopardizing not only my health, my personal life with my family, kids, wife, all that shit. Like it made it really difficult. And I was in a spot where it's just like, man, like I wasn't getting fulfilled creatively, and I got into the shit because I enjoyed making stuff. Like that's really like the reason why I ever picked up a camera was just because I just like being creative and just making stuff.
Yeah.
So I was in this weird spot where like I wasn't super fulfilled and wasn't having fun making the music videos. So I kind of shied away from that, switched over to the corporate world, and that's where like the majority of like the work that I do. But that is not creative. So like, yes, you're making money now and it's cool, but you're not.
You're bored to death.
Exactly.
You're bored out of your skull.
So it really has been like a teeter totter, and I've come to learn that it's always going to ebb and flow regardless. So over the years I've learned to like not necessarily dwell on being stuck somewhere at any given point, because it's all just, hey, this is just a period. This is just like a certain phase that I just need to get through it, and then I'll move on to the next thing. The next thing will pop up, and like that's where like the podcast, even bro, even with the podcast, they say that most podcasts don't live past their 25th episode. They usually die beforehand for a number of reasons. Consistency is probably like the number one. I'm sure you can relate. Like there's a lot of issues with like just lining up schedules, trying to get people guests on. You got to figure out location, and if you do, then you have technical difficulties. And I started doing that. It was super cool, very, very. It got me motivated, and like I did a whole bunch. But then I had to do them weekly. I was trying to do them weekly, and then I put too much on myself.
Yeah.
And then they weren't turning out as I wanted to, and then people will cancel, or we had an issue rescheduling, and all those logistics that you encounter. Then I stopped doing it for a while, and because work got in the way, and then I'm like, oh well, I got to make time for this. I got to edit this plus this other thing, and I kind of lost a little of the spark that I had initially, and that's really when it clicked for me that like. With not necessarily that you're never going to be happy, but you need to be happy that and understand and have like that awareness that like it's all just transitionary. So like it'll be cool at one point, and then it won't be as fun, but you need to try to find like joy in all the little things. So
Right.
even with us being right now, kind of going back to like us being right now in the woods, is kind of stems from that, right? Where I got a little bit bored with I don't want to say bored, but I wasn't as like motivated for the podcast that, I got into mountain biking during the beginning of COVID, and that was kind of like my thing that I got into, and I really fell in love with just cycling in general. So I started doing that, and had a very inspirational ride with a fellow cohort of ours, Dream Visions. Shout out to Sean.
Shout out Dream.
That we went out on a ride. He was just on some shit like, hey, I just want to go, you guys know any trails nearby? We met up, we rode and had a very cool conversation, and it kind of like clicked. We're like, oh shit, like I can do the biking stuff, which is something new that I really love and enjoy, and incorporate that with the podcast. Fast forward, I've done a handful of episodes where I'm taking people that have never really mountain biked or been on a bike for a minute, and the conversations stemming from that have been like so awesome. So that's why we're here. But to kind of like circle back to, like one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on is like you've gone since the last time we've like even linked up or really chopped it up. You have gone like through some tremendous growth as an artist, as a creative, and I want to hear like what got you into that, like what motivated you to like pick up a camera and like to do all the things that you do. Like obviously, we all have like a lot of varying interests and whatnot, but like I've really been, it's been amazing to see like your growth and like your trajectory and kind of even where you're going now.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Digi. Honestly, I picked up a camera because I knew it was something that when I was trying to be an artist 10 plus years ago, when I was like steadfast on being an artist, I picked up a camera because I knew it was something that I needed. I needed visual work, and I was a struggling artist that didn't have the money to pay for the quality of visual work that I needed. So I said, either I have to learn how to do this or I have to get some money, and with life, the way life works, you can't always, and especially if you ain't trying to do nothing illegal or go to jail, you can't always predict how your money gonna come, when it's gonna come. You got bills, you got stuff to take care of. So I felt like the best way for me to do it was just to lock in and learn it on my own. I was blessed enough to have people like you around at the time who, to me, in my eyes, was one of the best people doing it in the city when it comes to like filming, cinema photography, anything like that. Shout out my dog Ken Vision also. But I was just blessed to have people like y'all that when I did start and decided to pick up a camera, I was able to call y'all and ask and say, hey, is this setting right, or what's this, or how? And you guys would give me that feedback that I needed, and that critiquing that I needed, and you never held back any information from me. So it really gave me the confidence and the courage to really get good at it, to take it for what it was and take all those gems and knowledge and get good at it. And I locked in. I put my head down. I locked in on my craft, and next I looked up and I was actually making a living off shooting music videos. And I always tell my brother and like people closest to me that I don't know how it happened. All I know is I wanted it so bad. Like I would not go to the club with my friends. I would be on YouTube all fucking night. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we cuss on here?
Yeah, for you. Okay.
I would be on YouTube all night studying ways to improve my video and my craft, and then I would be up the next morning practicing those shots, whether it was on me or somebody else, to see if I had improved. Like that's the type of hunger I was, and I think I was hungry like that for like a year or two plus, doing all the rinky-dink gigs, the stuff I didn't really want to do. I'm in clubs filming for $100, $200 a night. Sometimes I'm there 4 or 5 hours. I'm waiting until 3 in the morning to get money that's gonna be spent before I was doing everything I didn't want to do to build my resume and learn how to do it. So all in all, like I said, I put my head down, I worked, and eventually I looked up and I had a brand out of it. I had a legit brand. My business is already LLC, but I looked up and I had a brand. It took me, I would say it took me a good 5 to 6 years to really get to the point to where I said, I'm comfortable in my work. I deserve to charge this, because it's stepping stones. I knew starting out, I knew I wasn't able to charge what you guys were charging, what the best were charging, but I took all the steps necessary. I didn't skip no steps. I took every step necessary to be where I'm at right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like and like the work, it shows for itself. It's like I feel like that's one of the things that it's I've like I say that I'm proud to like see the growth, and like it gets me brings me joy that it's noticeable the amount of work and effort that you put into the craft, that it wasn't just you weren't on some shit like, oh, like I just want to shoot videos because I ain't trying to pay like for somebody else to shoot videos or whatever. And like and I'm not saying that most people are like that, but I've come across some people who explore that potential of like, oh, I'm gonna shoot the videos myself, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they come to realize like, oh wow, like it's not as easy as I thought it was.
Exactly.
So like, seeing you put in the work and like, hey, or even asking the right questions, and like, it's interesting because you could tell like where somebody is based on the questions that they're asking, and you can see like, okay, so this is where you're at now. Like, oh, okay, you've leveled up some more. Like, oh, you're asking this,
Yeah.
so I already know like the trajectory that you're going, and it's like you smile like, bro, like there'll be times where you like text me or give me a call, and I'm like, yo, like oh shit, like that's what's up, bro. Like oh, you really doing this because like you're in the weeds. You're in the weeds. You're in the weeds asking questions that like you wouldn't know unless you were in the weeds. Trying to figure this stuff out. So it's been awesome to see. It's like, yeah, and for me, man, like one of the reasons why I feel like I'm always an open book, bro. Like anybody ever wants to like ask questions about like video posting, whatever the fuck, bro. Like when I came up, like there wasn't a whole lot of that, and like the people that were doing it, there was definitely a lot of gatekeeping, as you know, in pretty much every industry. There's a lot of that. But like I experienced that, and like I always told myself, like, yeah, bro, like I'm never gonna get in the way of somebody else's shine, like, cause that does nothing. It doesn't take anything away from me. Like,
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
it's I feel like with everything, bro, like there's so much, especially when it comes to like making money, man. Like I feel like I don't. That's like the last thing on my head of like me giving you some insight or a tip or something is not gonna like stop me from making money or being able to find work or whatever. On the contrary, I think when you're open and you're able to like collaborate and like help others, like I feel that other doors open for
up.
you. Or maybe on the flip side, like maybe you have to reach out to that person, or now this person, now you've made it big, or you're at the same level as as you are. Maybe I can come to you for a favor, or ask a question. Like I feel like,
Yeah, you never know who's gonna become who.
exactly. And like there's really like no value in that. And like I'm happy that like you're also the same way. And I feel like a lot of people that I've connected with and that like I'm really close to, they're the same way. And I feel like that's why all of us have been able to grow and have the success that we have, because it's we're all helping each other, and it's I feel like those are like one of the variables that lead to success. Obviously hard work and the hunger to like want to succeed. They play a role as well, but it's there's so much to go around. And like I always tell people, like if you have the opportunity to like help somebody, bro, like it doesn't do anything. It doesn't have a negative impact to your success by helping somebody else.
I agree.
So it's yeah, that's why I never hesitated to like answer a call, text, or whatever. And like I'm very happy, man, when I see you whenever I see you post a video drop.
Because when it was two creators before I started that. Actually three. I take that back. It was three creators. It was you. It was Phil's DKVTV, and it was my dog Kendall Mathis from Cincinnati. I really just admired y'all work so much, and y'all were the three creators that really inspired me to say, hey, I can do this, because y'all were some of the first ones I was actually able to like be behind the scenes, hands on, and watch y'all working. And like I said, just always the game, the open arms, the welcoming of the game. And yeah, for sure. But I don't want to make it seem like it was an easy journey, because life happens, and outside of trying to build a career, we still got our mentors to deal with daily. We still got our families to deal with daily. We still got figuring out what we want as people, who we are as individuals, because you can be so set on what you want and who you are, and you could wake up one day and all that can change. You can want different. You could be in a stuck place to say, man, I don't know what I want. What do I want? I'll fight that, and I fought a lot of them battles with the gloves on and the gloves up. I didn't run from the hard times. Like as a creative, I know a lot of us go through periods where we go through hard times in life, and it puts stops and blockages on our creativity. And that was something that I did a lot. But the older I grow and the more I become, the further I go in my career, I'm realizing that I'm becoming appreciative of every small step and everything that happens in my journey, because it's I'm hard on myself, but other people can see the significance in what I've been doing. But I'm so in my head, and sometimes as creatives, we could be in our own way by being in our head so much, you know. And I just want to touch on that. Like it's important to like give yourself grace as a creative, and work on your mental, and make sure that no matter what you going through the hard times, because it's gonna be hard time. Ain't gonna be no way around it. You're gonna have to deal with life. You're gonna have to deal with those mental issues, but you got to put the gloves up and you got to box them head on. You can't run from them, man, for real.
That 1000%. Like you definitely, like that's something that I'm learning too, is like giving myself grace. That it's, kind of what, I mentioned it earlier, that it's, even if you're stuck, you're not gonna be there forever.
Exactly.
So it's gonna come to a point where, hey, you keep going, keep moving forward. Like you're gonna make that progress. You're gonna move on to that next step, or find that next thing. How do you personally navigate through all that?
Personally, I believe in God. I don't question anybody's religion or what anybody believes in, but I think you have to believe in something bigger than yourself. Whether it's a higher power, whether it's your mission at hand, you have to believe in something bigger than yourself to get through those moments and times. And me, with my spiritualness and me believing in God, a lot of times I just walk in faith, and you just don't know sometimes. But when you believe, you just gotta, just like I said, put your best foot forward and keep going. A lot of times when I'm feeling depressed or when I'm feeling like I'm at a standstill, I like to be alone. I like to isolate myself, because for one, I don't like to put those emotions, or I don't like to put that depression and stuff. I don't like to put it on people. A lot of people could be going through stuff and not understand what they're going through, so they'll lash out on people, or they'll take that energy and they'll transfer it to other things, And I just personally like being alone, so I could think and I could just figure out my next step. Anything as far as nature, nature helps me. Like this right here is helping. Just being in nature, that helps calm my mind and just put me at a place where I could think, because naturally I'm a healer and a giver, and I pour into people naturally. It's just my heart. It's just who I am. But at the same time, when I didn't understand balance as far as my mental, taking care of myself too, to be able to balance out to do that, I would drain myself, and then I would become somebody that I'm not really at heart, and then that's when I would get all those feelings of anxiety and depression, and I would come down on myself, and then I would have to go find a way to refill my cup up and charge myself to be able to get back. But I look at it now as like, I look at it now as a blessing, because I was blessed with the ability to be able to give and pour into so many people and still be able to do it for myself. A lot of people can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about counting your blessings, being thankful. I hit those slumps a lot, Digi, but now I'm to the point to where I hit them, I instantly just try to give gratitude and thanks to all the little stuff. God, thank you for my house. Thank you for having heat. Thank you for a car. Thank you for me being able to put gas. Because when you start thinking about all the little stuff, then it start making sense. Like, damn, all the stuff I'm complaining about, all the slumps, the depression, this shit ain't really nothing for real. This is in my head. I'm fighting a war in my head. You feel me? So I think thankfulness and just being grateful and giving yourself grace helps you get through those times.
Absolutely. Like it's, I sometimes I look back and I think like myself, a past version of myself, what would they, my previous self would be like, wanted to be in a position that I'm in right now. And, when you put into that perspective, like it really does open the door for you to be able to, have that grace and be thankful that you are where you are. It's yeah, it's definitely something that obviously you gain wisdom, right, with experience and age.
Of course.
But but definitely like over the years, it's something that I've come to learn, and like not only like in a creative sense of things, but just with life, man. And like honestly, bro, like cycling does that for me. So like for me, like being able to just kind of disconnect from everything, as you know, when we were riding just a little bit ago, you're just locked in on
Yeah, I
what's
told
in
you,
front
I'm
of
locked
you.
in. I said, I gotta be locked in, bro.
You know, I think there was a few times where like I was like talking and like asking you, like checking in on you, and you're like not saying anything, but it's because of that, because you're just focused on like what's in front of you, and that
Look though, look though.
yeah,
In life, you have to focus on what's in front of you.
100%.
So
And
that
like
you
it's a perfect analogy to that, right? Like
perfect.
it's I don't know. It really, for me, like sometimes like I'll go out on a ride, bro, and like I'll forget why I was even pissed off or feeling some kind of way, because it allows it's just a way of me being able to just
This your new outlet for real, basically. This is like your therapy, basically.
yeah, that's exactly what it is. And like, so being able to do that, like there are times when if I can't go on a ride, bro, like I get my feels or whatever I'm going through exacerbates somewhat, but like I'm starting to now, it doesn't have to be, cycling, but like I find other ways of like, I don't want to say distracting, but like being able to just recalibrate. It's just really what it is like you recalibrate, and then you kind of get a new sense of self of like, hey, this is what this is what I want to do, or this is where I need to be.
Yeah.
It's so like cycling has done that for me, and it's really like opened my eyes to like, I don't know, just have a different perspective on life, bro. Like I'm extremely grateful to like, I don't know, just be here, bro. Like
Same.
it's it's I don't know. It sounds basic, bro, but like
No,
it really
it's
is like
the
when you
furthest thing from basic, because you got to think about it. If you don't, if you take away breath, if somebody can't breathe, what do you have?
nothing like you.
So think about how many people are really just naturally thankful for breath, for breathing.
For waking up in the morning.
You don't hear a lot of people talk about it. Sounds so simple, but if you don't have breath, if you can't breathe, nothing else outside of that matters. You're gone. We come in one way, we go out one way. So the fact that you said, I'm just grateful, I'm just thankful to be here, is that's the answer to all of this. It's the answer, it's the key. It's the key to life, it's the key to creation. And that's why I said finding that happy medium and that balance between giving yourself grace and finding what in your life you can be thankful for, who in your life you can be thankful for, because no matter how bad it is, somebody always got it worse than you.
Yep.
No matter how bad it is, it's just the nature of the game. Like, I'll be complaining, and then two stops later, somebody's on the corner with change begging for a cup, and I'll be thinking about that. I'm like, man, what am I even complaining for? It's cold as hell outside. They asking for change. I'm in a car with heat. I'm going to the like, it should be so petty. It'd be so petty, but that's why I said at this age, the only thing getting me through life is just being thankful for all the little things, just being grateful and thankful. And I think with me, like you said, how you reach your block sometimes. My blocks come when I'm not creating. I found out that I'm genuinely not happy if I'm not creating. It don't matter how it is, what form I'm creating in. If I'm creating for someone or creating for myself, if I'm not able to wake up and freely create, that's when I start getting those emotions to where I just start feeling discouraged. And I think it takes a lot to get to the point to where you can do that, because, of course, like you said, bills need to be paid. Things need to be taken care of as adults. You can't just wake up and freely do whatever you want without having to bills and shit taken care of.
Unfortunately.
But I think getting to a space in life where you could find something, just anything that you're passionate about and love that you can just freely do, I think that's the overall happiness and goal of life. I don't think it's having a gazillion dollars or being a millionaire or having a bunch of mansions. I think it's genuinely waking up and being able to do exactly what you want to do, like what you're passionate about, whether it's bike riding, whether it's working out, whether it's content creation, and that's just the point in life I'm at. I just want to wake up and do exactly what I want to do. I don't want to be forced or feel like I have to be put in a box to do something. What do you want to do for a living? What do you want to be when you grow up? I don't know. I may want to be this today. I may want to be that tomorrow. no, time changes, things evolve, people evolve, and I'm to the point now to where I want to allow myself to evolve. I didn't want to allow myself to evolve because I was so stuck in the mindset of being a rapper and everything that I was attached to from my past. But the fact that I'm growing spiritually, mentally, everything, my brain is congested when I try to hold on to all that stuff that I need to let go of to become who I'm supposed to be. So I think being okay with letting go, and just evolving as a person, as a human being, is just like the ultimate like keys and just the ultimate successes to life for real. I don't think it's nothing material.
And where's that taking you right now?
Well, um, as far as career wise,
Well, yeah, and the reason I ask is like I know we talked a little bit about it. Like you're making a move, and I guess I didn't really ask. Like I don't know if it was career specifically for career or like other factors that kind of bring it.
expansion, more so expansion, opportunity. That's more so what the move is about. Expansion and opportunity. It's just I I can't live with regret knowing that I didn't take the steps that were in front of me, that were placed in front of me to do what it is I need to do to align myself with who I'm supposed to be. You know, certain things they say are a coincidence, but I really truly, like I said, believe in God and I believe in the universe, and the way stuff just lines up sometimes it just makes sense to just, go for it, man. And right now it's all about expansion. It's all about different opportunities, and it's all about the unknown. It's about not being scared of the unknown. You know, I lived in fear of the unknown for so long, and right now I'm in such a space. Like, you see, I'm out here in the woods. You got me riding mountain bikes, like, and my life has been the best it's ever been because I'm no longer afraid of the unknown. I wanna enjoy my journey, and I wanna enjoy it without having a roadmap to success. A lot of people say a lot of people hit me and ask me questions about how they should put out their music or how they should do this or how they should do that. And I tell them all the same answer. It's different strokes for different folks. The same thing I would say to him isn't the same thing I would say to him, or the same thing that works for him isn't going to be the same thing that works for her. Everybody has their own journey to figure out. And I think that's the main thing, figuring out your journey and just aligning yourself with your journey. It's going to be ups, it's going to be downs, but that alignment is the most important. And right now it's just part of my journey. It's no other better way to say it. It's just part of my journey.
That right there is the reason why I started the podcast, and as part of that journey, why I kind of fell off from it and got away from it a little bit. But upon restarting it now, it's 1000% the reason why I want to just be able to share that message. Like literally everything that you said, like I resonate with, because it's literally things that like I've come to experience, and it's really what has made me like want to continue to do this, or even just even just creating, just doing shit in general. Like it really, it's part of my journey, right? And I want to be able to like share that with other people, because I think, especially with a lot of younger folks, or maybe people who may not have as much experience in life or career wise, you get really hung up on where when you're going through those lows and when you're stuck, that you feel that is the end of the world and that there's nothing else, and like,
Been
oh,
there
I'm
too
stuck
many
here,
times. Been there
so
too
like
many times.
I really appreciate you being able to not only like articulate that in a, I feel like, way better than I ever could. And but it's like so true, man. Like it really is like being grateful, giving yourself grace, and like appreciating the journey that you're on, and knowing that where you are right now is not where you're going to be tomorrow, 5 years from now.
Facts.
That allows you to just give you the push to move forward. So it's, I know we could probably sit here and like talk for hours, bro, but we're literally we're in the woods, but we're literally like running out of sunlight, and like I'm willing to bet that the camera is a little dark now. But before we start to wrap up, I want to say thank you for coming out, for doing the pod. I know we've been talking about
sure.
just chopping it up for a long time, but I also thank you for the message, man, because like no joke, bro, like I feel that that's something that like is resonating with me right now. And kind of like, yes, I know, like I know all of that, but like it's just hearing it, bro.
Sometimes
Like,
you gotta hear it from certain motherfuckers, certain
you gotta
energies,
hear that
son. You
again.
gotta
Like,
hear it.
hey, you know,
Trust me, Digi. When I tell you the same messages that resonate with you resonate with me, and I can only explain it or say it if I'm going through it or been through it. So nothing I'm saying is like out of just, I'm not talking. I never talk just to talk. I always tell people that I never create just to create, and I never speak just to speak. Every time I speak or every time I create, it's with intention. You know, so I think just continue what you're doing, continue being intentional, because you've always been somebody who has been intentional about the content you put out. You never ever came off, and I've never seen you display anything just to do it, just to go viral, just to have just to rush a piece of work out there. Just, you have to keep that integrity about your art, and when it hits, when it clicks, it's gonna click. And I've started several projects that I still have in limbo right now, from podcasts to clothing lines. I have several things, and sometimes we start stuff, we got to go back to the drawing board, regroup, maybe twist that screw around, maybe put that there. That's okay. It's all part of the process, you know. So what you're doing with this, I definitely feel like it's just part of your process, you know, and it's A1. I love what you're doing. I appreciate you as a creative. Like I said, you definitely had inspiration on my journey, and I'm just privileged and honored to be here, bro. You don't owe me no thanks at all. I'm definitely appreciative of you, bro.
I thank you for the kind words, man. And for the listeners out there, you know, it's give yourselves grace.
Give yourself grace.
I think, you know, that's been something that's been touched upon with other guests before, and it really is, like, honestly, I have to do like that. I feel like that is the key to, like,
Can't stress it enough.
you know, just unlocking the next level. It's like understanding, by giving yourself grace, you give yourself the freedom to know that it's not forever. It's not permanent.
Facts, because the numbers, and this is why grace is so important. The numbers and the results aren't always going to speak or show where you're at, just to be realistic. And what I mean by that is, you could spend a whole week creating the most beautiful piece of art you ever created, visual content. You could spend all week, hours shooting, hours editing, and it could be the most stunningest piece that you've ever made. And you can post that on YouTube, Instagram, and you can get about 500 views in a night or a day. And you can wake up tomorrow and you can say, I worked so hard on that piece, I only got 500 views. And sometimes a lot of people let the numbers and they let the schematics of
The vanity metrics.
Yeah, they let that influence their mind and their creation point. And once you get to the point to where you give yourself grace and you understand that the numbers don't matter, what ultimately matters is the content and the value of what you're giving to people. That's when you're gonna win. Like, and I think people need to work from that standpoint versus like a viral standpoint. Work from a value standpoint. What can you give people that they don't have, or what can people take away from this that they're gonna be able to, you know, give somebody else, you know, versus going viral. So that's just another gem I wanted to throw out there for people too.
Man, it's we gonna have to do this again. And
Oh, for sure.
so
I'm with it.
before
I'm
we
with
wrap up, you know, where can our listeners find you, and you know,
Yes,
what's
of
next for
course.
Bangi?
Of course. Well, what's next for Bangi is I am relocating. I'm going to expand my film endeavors. I will be doing some film work in Atlanta. Just basically expanding the company, going to work on my clothing brands. Like I said, definitely more podcast episodes on the traveling side. May or may not drop some music, just depends on how I'm feeling. Helping turn up the city, helping turn up other artists, and just going worldwide, just going global, just being unafraid of the unknown, just taking all the chances, all the risk, and just reaping all the benefits and the blessings of the work that I've put in, and not being scared to accept the blessings of the work that I've put in, because it's been put in. And yeah, that's pretty much what's next for me, man. But other than that, y'all know y'all can follow me on Instagram @_Bangi, Bangi. You can also follow my film page @Bangi Shot It, Bangi SHOTIT. Also, make sure you follow my sports media company, Keep Running Sports.
Well, Bangi, thank you for coming on the Creative Block podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, thanks everybody. Peace.